Welcome to the NFL Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by lineups.com in partnership with DraftKings Pick6. Nate and Josh here with you guys on week 15. Going to be taking a look at these player props, looking at more or less, using DK Pick6 to help you guys get there. Going to give you those who don't yet have an account with DK Pick6 a nice opportunity to get in on the action as well. But let's go ahead and just jump right into the action here, Nate, and start with your first look of the day, my boy, talking about Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah, I mean, apparently this is just what the Giants are going to do the rest of the season. They had the interim coach Kafka is just literally looking to like run out the clock on the season by running as often as possible. They since he took over have the most rush rate over expectation by a mile in the NFL. And so Tyrone Tracy getting first crack at things here. His number almost the same thing as Singletary, because 2 weeks ago Singletary was more productive against the Patriots before the bye. Tyrone went out with a hip stinger, but that game was not competitive. He said he was fine. And now they have the bye to rest up. So he should get first cracks. And the first two under Kafka, he averaged 19 and a half carries for 75 yards a game against Green Bay and Detroit, who are, top 10 run defenses by most metrics. Washington, while they're worse against the pass, they're not particularly good against the run either. And I think, Kafka, it might be an instruction from on high to just don't get Jackson Dart hurt. He's the future of the franchise. So that might be why it's such a high rush play rate, but I don't think he wants him dropping back a ton here in a division game against a pissed off opponent that just lost 31-0. It has nothing to lose, right? So Washington's run defense is still vulnerable. Like I said, 4.8 yards per carry. And really it's just a volume play that I expect Tracy to get a ton of carries based on how the Giants are playing.
Yeah, we kind of talked about this right when Scatabo went down, which was just like, well, I don't think the Giants are going to change much. Maybe they'll give Singletary a few more carries than they would have given to him if Scatabo was the starter, but like, Tyrone Tracy's out there and doing his thing for the majority of the snaps for carries, especially the opportunity share, especially what we're talking about here. But let me go over to our boy Joe, who's back. Joe Burrow. We're talking about completions for him against this Ravens squad, because that's just what you got to do if you want to move the ball, man. This has been the number one rush defense in terms of EPA since week 5, when they really started to get everybody back and get healthy. So we know what they're capable of, and that just means that they're going to have to throw a ton, which is nothing new for this offense, kind of regardless of who it's playing. Been the MO all season. They've gotten Brown a bit more involved and Pirine to a degree, but Pirine back to sort of his receiving role as well, which only helps you with those short throws. And you saw him in his first game against Baltimore. It was a return from that injury, and he finished with 24 completions on 46 attempts there. Went 9 for 14 in the second half, though, we should say, and started to get his accuracy back and started to find things. And in his last 3 versus Baltimore, this all adds up, because he's looking at about 29 completions per game in those 3, looking at 47 attempts per game versus Baltimore. It's a 3-game sample size, but I mean, it's the division foe, and not much has changed in terms of the strategy on offense for this Bengals team, and then the defense for the Ravens being as good as it has been on defense, especially against the run. And you're talking about the Bengals also upping that tempo with Joe out there, 4th fastest pace that they've been on in their last 5 games. So a lot of like dink and dunk, a lot of quick possessions, and a lot of possessions for Burrow and the Bengals.
Yeah, and it looks like right now it's off the board at Pick6. It was 24 and a half when we were looking at this initially, and you can see you can get 22 completions for him at the 0.7 times multiplier, which is a high likelihood outcome because of everything you're saying. Yeah, it's just a pass volume matchup. Burrow looked absolutely elite in the snow in Buffalo, right? I mean, can't be much harder of a matchup in terms of their run defense is much worse. And, we can get into that with another pick later, but this is the opposite type of matchup. And so my second pick here, less than 205 for Justin Herbert. This also was at 207 and a half when I picked it. And it's gone down a little bit as people are starting to look at this as well. I mean, just Chargers offensive line is historically bad, man. 7 sacks last week. He's now taken 17 sacks in the last 4 since losing Joe Alt, averaging 147.8 passing yards per game in those 4. And the Chargers have the 4th lowest pass rate over expectation in that span, as they're just trying to not get Herbert killed. And in fact, they did get his left wrist broken. And while you don't want to root for an injury, there's definitely a possibility that he does not finish this game. And Ladd McConkey questionable as well. Like, the Chargers offense, basically, to summarize, is falling apart. There's nothing good happening here. They now faced a really pissed off Chiefs team that, even if they don't make the playoffs, they have to win out to even have a chance. they're probably going to take out their frustration on this Chargers team in a division game. Their defense is really freaking good. Basically would have pummeled CJ Stroud into the ground and won that game last Sunday night had Andy Reid not made the worst coaching decision of his career. In the last, actually, you look at those sacks all from Herbert, Josh, 3 of those were at SoFi. So calm, quiet environment. While it's not like a home field, the one road game, if you guys remember, was at Jacksonville. He went 10 for 18, 81 yards, and got knocked out of the game actually with a concussion, I believe. So, I mean, on the road in a raucous environment, freezing temperatures. I know he's super tough and he wants to hang in there against pressure, but when you generate pressure, the Eagles did at 70% of his dropbacks last time out, you can't get much done, man. It's tough to go over 205 yards against a pretty damn good defense.
Yeah, we're getting low on some of these yardage totals late in the season as we're seeing some bad winters all over the country too, by the way. Like, it's cold everywhere. There's no insulation out here on the West Coast. That's why I'm wearing double layers just to be inside the house at this point. So yeah, it adds up that, like, I saw Sam Darnold open, I think, at about 165 or something on the passing yards, more or less, with that one. So yeah, the weather's coming into play a part now. Let's take a quick second to talk about our partners at DraftKings Pick6 and the deal that they have for you and you don't want to miss. When you play $5 or more on your first paid Pick6 entry, you'll get $50 in Pick6 credits. That's right, play $5, get 50 in Pick6 credits to lock in your picks and take your shot at big wins. Just use our link to sign up and start playing. If you've been thinking about trying Pick6, now's the time to get in. Just use the link in the bio to sign up, and all new DraftKings customers can play $5 and get $50 in Pick6 credits. Let's build some of those lineups. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick6 credits that expire in 14 days. Ends January 25th, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Time to come back to a frequent returning pick to this show here, and Isaiah Likely more than 37.5 receiving yards in this game. Already started talking about that Bengals offense. Now we're talking about that Bengals defense when it comes to Isaiah Likely and his matchup versus one of the worst tight end defenses, especially in the last couple years as well. Just limiting tight end pretty much everything. We saw him go for 95 yards on the 5 receptions in this same matchup here on Thanksgiving just a few weeks ago. And in the last 3 weeks, he's been second in that target share. And we know, like, the connection between he and Lamar Jackson has always been there, and there has always been that correlation in a nice trajectory upwards for Likely when he does have Lamar back there. And he is used in a really less traditional way, we should say, when, especially with Lamar, he's the guy sort of moving all up and down the line. You've got Andrews out there as more of a traditional tight end, definitely more of a blocking tight end, even though we wouldn't necessarily call him a great one. Definitely going to be used more for that than Isaiah Likely if they are both out there. Much more likely to see Isaiah probably in the slot at that point. So he's going to continue to be that sort of hybrid guy that they look for in those untraditional ways to get him the ball and get him open. We saw him actually lose a tutty last week. He had 25 yards on 4 receptions in a slightly harder matchup, but did drop that ball early. Actually caught it, had the touchdown, and then it looked like he just dropped it early, somewhat unnecessarily. That is such a plague in football. I hate seeing that, but we do think this is going to be another good spot for him to just help Lamar stay in rhythm all game and be a frequent target of his.
Yeah, and an underrated part of the Bengals is actually their corners are playing really well. So, I mean, you could spin it positively that they're so bad against the tight end because the wide receivers are not getting off. Last week, I think they let up a touchdown to all 3 of the Bills' tight ends, though. So, like, both Andrews and Likely could get more than their number for sure. They could also get off in this matchup because that's where the Bengals are weak. Trevor Lawrence with the Jags here, big favorites at home against the New York Jets. It's like, why would you need to throw? Basically, just summarize it right there. Hand the ball off to Travis Etienne, who, if you want to take more than on that makes sense. Because the Jets are pretty bad against the run. They just allowed 5.8 yards per carry to the Dolphins. Tua only 23 attempts because they were up like 20-3 in a flash. I don't really see a different scenario unfolding no matter who plays quarterback for the Jets. Could be Brady Cook, Justin Fields, could be Tyrod Taylor. It's really a spinning wheel of ineffective guys. I mean, Tyrod Taylor would be the most effective of those, but this Jacksonville defense is humming now. They got Trayvon Walker back. They should control this game. And the most important thing is Liam Cohen, since the bye week, has been like, let's actually limit Trevor Lawrence's opportunities to throw the ball. He's 5 straight games without going 31 pass attempts. They have a 51% pass play rate since then, including 49% last week. And when he does throw, his his yards per attempt are way up. So they're more high volume throws. That just means you need fewer attempts after you go down the field and score on the Jets.
Yeah, no, yeah, it makes total sense here. It's just you don't need it. You just if you don't need it, why would you force it at that point with the positive game script most likely incoming at that point? But finishing it off here with Treveyon here, we're getting a little bit of the value because he's not really the sort of starter or the seen as the number one back right now, as he has been losing some snaps with Ramondre recently. Easy for me to say, but he has been much more productive, especially in that week 13. He's just seems like a guy that's like one of those situations where you got two backs, one's younger, one's older. They're still holding on to the coach just loves his older back, but like there's just not much of a question when you look at Treveyon's 6.1 yards per carry in week 13 when it was he and Ramondre both available. Looking like he should be at that, like maybe not 6, but he's going to be at a higher yards per carry, just find more space each time. And like let's not forget like his post rookie bump, right? You get a little bit of the bye week there that helps you when you have a rook. And this is where we expect him to be moving forward towards the end of the season as someone that probably will be really heavily featured come the playoffs as well. But the Bills, this is a matchup thing as well, right? They're 30th in rush DVOA on the season. In fact, when they are playing on the road, they give up a league high 48% of their opponent's yards via the ground. So they're definitely been a lot better against the pass, and especially against the deep ball, where you would expect sort of like the Drake May company not to necessarily have quite the same success going in those big chunk yardage deep ball plays, really having longer, more sustained drives, giving a few more opportunities to the rook as the snap share should sort of stay somewhat even. You still get benefit by him getting obviously more plays in general for the pads.
Yeah, I mean, this is how you attack the Bills. They are very good limiting deep shots. As you said, their secondary, good players all over. Wouldn't be surprised if Drake May doesn't have the greatest game here, but Treveyon should be playing over Ramondre. It's just a situation, like you said, where there's like the old school coaching staff is like, we got to stick with the vet here. But that's just fine if they split time because Treveyon will outgain him and will probably have a better chance of getting his number.
Yep. Completely agree there. So that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Definitely make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We'll be coming back to you each and every week here throughout the NFL season in partnership with DK Pick6. So until we see y'all next, best of luck.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. CT. 18 plus. 19 plus ALNE. 21 plus AZMAVA. Valid only where Pick6 operates. See dkng.co/Pick6 states. Void in NY, ONT, and where prohibited. Eligibility restrictions apply. 1 per new DraftKings customer. First $5 plus paid Pick6 to receive max $50 issued as non-withdrawable Pick6 credits that expire in 14 days, 336 hours. Ends January 25th, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Terms: pick6.draftkings.com/promos, sponsored by DraftKings.